Welcome to this week's edition of Warrior Weekly alongside Travis Whipple. I am Lucas DeGarmo. Travis, starting with track and field, the most recent poll, Winona State Track and Field is 12th in the nation.
Yeah, they've got an outstanding team this year. We've talked about them all year long. You know, obviously the first part of it we were talking about the indoor season, and now they're transitioning out to the outdoor. But they're excited about the great weather we've been having, and you mentioned it, 12th in the nation. And this is a team that was picked 4th in the NSIC preseason coaches poll, so they're really doing well. The past meet at UW Oshkosh, Kelly Shaw really shined and won the 200 and 400, and then anchored the 4x400 relay team. And in the process was named NSIC Track Athlete of the Week, set some school records, so she's really having a nice season.
Congratulations to Kelly Shaw. And now moving on to Winona State baseball. They recently swept Upper Iowa 8-6 and 5-3 right here in Winona, and now move to 19-5. A tremendous start to the season for Winona State baseball.
Having a great year, and you know, I think a long time ago we caught up with Coach Polk on our other show, All Access, and he really anticipated this. He thought this was a great group and that they would really perform well. But yeah, they're really performing at a high level right now. And Tony Mueller went 3 of 5, had that 2-run homer in the first game against Upper Iowa, and so a tremendous job there. And Jim Kovacs got the win as a pitcher, his first win of the season, so that's good to see. But overall, it was a great first game, and then the second game, John McGee hit the go-ahead run in the bottom of the 5th and put them up 5-3, which was the final score. So an excellent job there. And then another pitcher we'll talk about, Cody Simon, has really been playing well, 3-0 on the year, came in the 5th inning to get the win, went 2 2/3 innings. So outstanding job by the baseball team, and you know they continue to do well.
Despite winning 12 out of their last 13 games, Winona State fell in the Central Region from 4 to 5, so they dropped a spot, even though they, did great last week, and it dropped in the national polls from 29 to 33.
You know, I think that's really why you don't focus a whole lot on rankings and stuff like that. You go prove it on the field, and this year, I think that speaks for itself with this team. They've really proved it on the field, and you know, part of it might be some strength of schedule issues, but you can't control who you play in your conference. And I really believe that their best baseball is here to come.
How about this stat? Winona State baseball is 9-1 in the conference, and they've outscored their opponents 210 to 106.
Yeah, they're doing an excellent job getting guys on base and obviously not leaving them on. You know, they're doing a real nice job, and you got to give the pitching staff some credit. No matter who you're playing, they're really doing a nice job.
Next up for Winona State baseball, they have a 4-game series with Augustana on April 10th and April 11th. The Vikings are 1 game back of the Warriors in the NSIC with an 8-2 record. Now moving on to Winona State softball. They're 18-5 overall on the season, and they are number 15th ranked team in the nation. They fell from 7th.
Yeah, you know, I think right now is a time that we're really going to learn a lot about this team because they've got some injuries, and you know, when you've got an All-American pitcher out in softball, it's very difficult. But I think they'll rally around the fact that they've got a lot of experienced student athletes that are really going to play well here, and you know, some important games coming up for conference, regional standings, all those types of things. But you know, like I said, they're a little banged up right now, and you know, I think we'll really find out a lot about them coming up.
Out in Nebraska, Winona State softball was swept by Wayne State 10-3 and 2-1 in 9 innings. And a second year in a row, Wayne State has swept Winona State in the regular season.
Well, it was kind of the wake-up call for them last year. I think they went and got swept by Wayne, which is a very good team with a dominant pitcher. So, you know, I don't see this as alarming whatsoever. I think that, like I mentioned before, we're really going to see what this team's made of and see how hungry they are to get back to that World Series that they went to last year.
In Game 2, Alex Chichilla went 8 1/3 innings, getting the loss, even only giving up 2 runs. Next up for Winona State softball, Bemidji State on April 10th at noon, and Minnesota Duluth at noon on the 11th. That's here in Winona. Now moving on to men's and women's golf out on the links. Both placed 7th at the Upper Iowa Invite.
Yeah, a couple of good outings for our golf teams, and the women shot a 661 for the weekend, and the men shot a 628. And you know, the guy we've talked about quite a bit is Brady Strong-Celine, who's done a great job for the men's team over the last couple of years, but certainly this year as well. And you know, he shot a 148 over the weekend. So some good things happening from our men's and women's golf teams, and I think like the rest of our teams, the student athletes are really going to play well here at the end of the season and make a run.
For the men, they compete at the NSIC Championship in Lake City, Minnesota on April 10th and 11th, and the women on April 10th and 11th are in a multiple team tournament in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Winona State women's tennis did not have any action since the last show, but Bethel, April 9th, they play at 6 p.m. April 10th and 11th, and they travel to St. Peter, Minnesota to play Northern State, Minnesota State, and Gustavus Adolphus.
Big weekend for them, as you mentioned, 4 matches over the weekend, and always a big one with Minnesota State University Mankato. They're always one of the dominant teams in the conference, so I think should be a great outing for them this weekend in Mankato. Other thing to note is that the Warrior Walk is this Sunday at 8:30 registration down at the JC's Pavilion by the softball diamond.
So everybody go and support Winona State at the Warrior Walk. That's it for this week's edition of Warrior Weekly. For Travis Whipple, I am Lucas DeGarmo. It's a great day to be a Warrior.